Talk show icon Wendy Williams has gone from hosting her Hot Topic segments on her daytime talk show, where no celebrity or issue is off limits, to now being a hot topic herself.
How you doing?
Her soon-to-be-released documentary, Where is Wendy Williams?, has dropped several promotional clips which the public finds quite alarming, and many are concerned for her. It reveals a totally different Wendy Williams. Stay tuned as we've got all the messy and juicy details here on Celebrity Business. Wendy Williams had an illustrious career on radio and TV. She never wavered or held back from dishing on celebrity news and gossips, where no celebrity or topic was off limits.
The Nile is a river in Egypt. Your husband is gay.
Although she was often dragged for her harsh comments, she was also well respected in her field, especially by her colleagues and her audience. To see her go from this vibrant personality to a completely different person, not only in looks but also in relatability, is just so heartbreaking and gut-wrenching. I enjoyed watching her show, and those Hot Topic segments were very hot and juicy. Though sometimes her comments were harsh, she was not a bad person. There are people like Wendy who are there to tell the harsh truths. They just tell it like it is.
So he's starting to get the Bobby Brown mouth. better put that down, Chris. Mariah, I don't know who you think you're fooling with this one. I know the telltale signs. I've lived.
Wendy Williams' life took a turn for the worst after she collapsed while filming a Halloween segment of her show back in 2017. Despite that, Wendy went on with the show.
I did pass out, but you know what? I'm a champ, and I'm back.
She later shared with her audience that she was diagnosed with Greaves' disease and has been living with the illness for about 19 years.
I have Greaves' disease and thyroid disease, and I was diagnosed 19 years ago. My thyroid, my hyperthyroid, is attached also to Greaves' disease. Greaves' disease squeezes the muscles behind your eyeballs. And so that's the reason for the eye thing that you all have been saying. You caught it before I did.
It wasn't made known whether her collapsing incident was related to her diagnosis.
I'm shocked that I fell down, at 53 on Halloween.
Conditions such as hyperthyroidism can be heavily affected by severe stress. And it seemed Wendy was experiencing a lot of stress, primarily because of her ex-husband, Kevin Hunter, who had a very public affair and also fathered a child as a result of that affair. It seemed the excess stress even caused Wendy to suffer a relapse after years of being sober. It was no secret that Wendy had her struggles with drugs. She has been open and honest about it with her audience.
I've smoked crack. I've cooked coke. I've sniffed it. I spent 10 years sneaking and doing and lying and betraying, and it's not something I'm ashamed of because it's part of what makes me who I am today. Maybe that's why I ask you about the wigs and the weaves and let it all hang out even more so, because there's nothing worse than doing drugs. And cocaine was my choice of drug.
2 years after her fainting spell incident, Wendy expressed on her TV show that she was living in a sober house. It was quite clear that she either relapsed or was having the urge for cocaine, which could be from all the stress in her personal relationship.
I have been living in a sober house. And I've had a struggle with cocaine in my past. And I never went to a place to get the treatment. I don't know how. I go to several meetings all around town in the tri-state area. I am driven by my 24-hour sober coach back to a home that I live in here in the in the tri-state with a bunch of smelly boys who've become my family. Nobody knew because I look so glamorous out here.
Wendy's life continued to take a dramatic turn as her divorce from ex-husband was dragged all over the internet. Though, when in public, Wendy tried to stay strong and made light of the horrible situation.
Divorced from your husband.
Correct.
Kevin, after nearly 22 years of marriage.
Correct.
And
25 years being together.
Being together.
Correct.
And because of his infidelity.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
You know, infidelity is one thing. A full baby is a whole nother topic.
That in the New York Times Magazine, I'm a very forgiving person, but there's one thing I could never be a part of, and that one thing happened.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And
wow.
and that was it.
Yeah.
The baby did it.
A baby. I'm not changing Pampers. I want to be pampered.
If going through a divorce from a husband who blatantly disrespected her in public with another woman wasn't enough, he also fathered another child with this woman, and as part of the divorce settlement, Wendy has to pay him spousal support. That has got to be a lot for one person to manage. As a result of all this stress, which clearly affected her health and possibly caused her to fall off the wagon, she wasn't able to do her show. She was away for several weeks, with the show airing with several guest hosts until it was finally canceled. That cancellation hit Wendy hard. I think she was thinking she'd be better and back doing her usual thing, but that cancellation was real. And ever since then, Wendy has been plotting her way back to a career she has loved for so many years.
And I'm a very plotative individual. I will plot on you. That's right.
There was once talk about her doing a podcast, which would get her back in the radio host vibe and just back working, as having a steady routine can help to reduce stress and reduce the urge to want to use any kind of drug or alcohol.
You know, I've got enough money to do something else. And what I've never done, podcasts, which by the way, podcasts everyone has. But when you're famous, podcasts will make more money for me being famous than doing the Wendy Williams show. So, podcast. Where will I go? I'm not sure.
Months after her show was canceled, Wendy apparently agreed to do a documentary about her life. The initial aim of this documentary was to show viewers how Wendy's life has been going, especially since she no longer has a platform to do that herself. After about 2 years of filming this documentary, a lot has changed and progressed in Wendy's life that has people concerned for Wendy. The documentary highlights Wendy as a lonely, agitated woman who is facing low moments in her life, possibly due to losing her job, going through a divorce and battling serious health conditions. Wendy is portrayed in the documentary as an angry woman constantly craving alcohol.
Did you drink this whole thing today? You're perfectly fine having as many drinks as you want.
Perfectly.
Okay? But I'm just gonna put it downstairs to keep it cool.
Keep it there.
Okay.
Keep it there.
The documentary was a raw and jarring look at Wendy Williams' life, which has many people seriously concerned about her health and well-being. Her niece and goddaughter address some of the shocking things that the public has been seeing and hearing about Wendy Williams.
And she was adamant that she wanted to control the narrative of her story. And one thing we know about my aunt, she has never shied away from saying it like she means it, as we know. And despite conversations that I had had with her, this was what she wanted to do. And we saw it all play out publicly in the blogs and everywhere. And her ultimate decision was that everybody's telling my story, no matter how painful it is, I want to tell it. And so it went from there.
It's understandable.
Well, Wendy's been open about having Greaves' disease and lymphedema, and she's also been open about addiction problems that she's struggled with. But in watching this, you see that she's clearly struggling with cognitive issues. What do you and the family believe is going on? Is there more than just the Greaves' disease, the lymphedema, and the addiction there?
Yeah, and you know, there's more happening. And like I said, I would love it if my aunt could be here today to tell her story. But unfortunately, she's not. So I'm doing the best I can, you know. But yes, as a family, we know that there's more there, and a lot in terms of, you can understand this, Sunny, because you've seen it. People are going to see that throughout the documentary. I think people are going to walk away saying, this is more than what we realized in terms of what we've read, whether it's things that might have seen on her show throughout the years that seemed a little off. People are going to walk away with that and say, what is really going on here with her medically? Yeah.
The documentary showed moments where Wendy seemed to be experiencing cognitive issues and sudden moments of incoherence.
I think she's losing memory. Have you guys noticed that?
How dare him?
It was later announced by Wendy's team that the talk show icon and queen of radio was diagnosed last year with aphasia and frontotemporal dementia. Aphasia affects a person's ability to communicate as they struggle to express their thoughts, with some people even losing their ability to speak or write. Frontotemporal dementia is caused by a damage to the left side of the brain that affects language and communication abilities. This recent news regarding Wendy's diagnosis came amid a clip that was circulating the internet with Black China having a heart-to-heart with Wendy Williams, but Wendy seemed further from that conversation.
You've always been like honest with me and like put me in my place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In like the most motherly, kind way. That's why I love you so much. You can call my phone whenever. I'm so serious. And I think I'm gonna be back and forth from New York, so I'm gonna be coming to see you more.
My real name is Wendy Hunter.
Hunter.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm divorced.
Yes.
He's got no money.
It was definitely heartbreaking to watch that clip, especially knowing Wendy as this vibrant TV personality, to see her looking like she doesn't even know the name of the person sitting across from her. It's just a very sad situation. My prayers are with you, Wendy. You have brought joy and laughter to many people who watched your show. And for those people saying it's karma and she deserves it, that's just horrible. No one deserves to suffer in any way, regardless of their past. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Catch up on more celebrity business in the next video.